expedite Tzu Chi's fire disaster relief in Northern California, Tzu Chi Santa Rosa volunteers begin assessing damages. Tzu Chi Thailand Chapter now offers free medical clinics for refugees 3 times a month at the Bangkok Jing Si Hall. Welcome to DaAi Headlines. I'm Marilee Shoda. Thank you for joining us. We begin today's program in the Dominican Republic, where in the aftermath of Hurricane Maria, Tzu Chi volunteers have held an aid distribution in Ramon Santana. Besides giving out daily supplies, the volunteers also distributed shoes and back-to-school supplies to students. At the occasion, many affected residents also donned on volunteers' vests and served their fellow countrymen. Let's take a look.
In the aftermath of Hurricane Maria, after the floodwater receded, Tzu Chi volunteers hold a relief distribution in Ramon Santana, which is a remote region.
These stationery, shoes, and daily supplies are what people need in daily life. The affected residents are very thankful. They are happy to receive these supplies.
Besides giving out daily supplies, Tzu Chi volunteers also care about devastated schools. The parents and students from Tzu Chi Children's class help pack shoes and stationery. Many affected residents also don a volunteer vest and volunteer. Among them, Jean Rennie, who has a mobility problem, also serves others.
Although I cannot walk, God gave me clear mind, so I can think clearly. I should use it well.
Tzu Chi volunteers give without asking for anything in return. They've inspired us with their spirit so we can accomplish a lot of things.
A total of 215 affected households received the needed supplies, while 177 students get shoes and stationery. After learning about Tzu Chi's early bamboo bank era, they also donate to help others. Although they've suffered from natural disaster, their love and kindness have also been inspired.
In the United States, Californians are being impacted by wildfires in both the northern and southern region, and as the winds are fierce and humidity dry. And as wildfires in Northern California continue to blaze on, Tzu Chi Liaison Office in Santa Rosa is now providing hot meals for affected residents every day. Also, volunteers from Tzu Chi Northern California Chapter began conducting disaster assessments of impacted residents and donating blankets to emergency shelters.
As the wildfires in Northern California continue to cause destruction, Tzu Chi's disaster assessment team has traveled to Santa Rosa, which has been devastated by the fires. Along the way, volunteers can see the heavy smoke. As the wildfires continue to blaze, electricity is due down. Outside the shelters, people need to wear masks. Volunteers have delivered blankets to the affected residents at this shelter.
So we're really grateful. Our 3 major emergency shelters were not affected by the fire. However, our administrative offices and our thrift store were in the evacuation zone. We currently don't have access to the sites and electricity is down. So we definitely needed additional blankets today with the evacuees and the people who are sleeping in the cots. We didn't have enough for everybody last night, and so other residents of the shelter were handing them over, but now we have enough for everybody to have one.
Santa Rosa is a good city, it's a beautiful city. We come here to see so many houses burned. It's very, very surprising. It's very scary. I never saw a big fire like this, especially in the downtown area.
We thought that we were going to be back in a couple hours and everything was going to be fine. Just dust some ash off and open the windows to air out the house. You know, then slowly we started hearing that their house didn't make it, their house didn't make it, so we pretty much knew that ours didn't make it either.
The Northern California ERT team here is trying to make a good assessment of the disaster. It's going to be a big effort to relieve.
It's slowly starting to become reality, It was hard last night because all I wanted to do was go home, but, this is my home and it's no longer, so again, my family's all safe, all my friends and everybody who I care about is safe. That's what I think everybody needs to focus on now.
Staying in the United States, we now take a look at how a cycle of love was created in the aftermath of Hurricane Harvey. As Tzu Chi volunteers distributed cash cards to those impacted, they also explained the money they are receiving are donations from kind-hearted people from around the world. After learning about this, many hurricane victims adopted coin banks, ready to give back to help others, less fortunate people.
Oh, you want to give us a free? Thank you.
The lovely girl hands the affected residents bread like an angel. Many affected residents are deeply moved by the kind gestures of those who helped them.
If you want to find something good, it's just been the outpouring of love and caring. And I mean, even strangers, 3 nights after the hurricane, we stayed at these strangers' ranch.
Even strangers open up their heart and hug each other. At this moment, they feel each other's love and care, creating a cycle of compassion.
Horror stories, but then there's, on the other side of that, there's these beautiful things that people that don't owe us anything have done to help us.
Many affected residents have also taken actions to give back. At Tzu Chi's aid distribution site in Houston, many hurricane victims decided to take coin banks home so they can also donate money to help other less fortunate people.
We should help each other. Therefore, I asked to take a coin bank home. I will save a bit of money every day and donate it to you.
But it just makes my heart happy to see that people are willing to help other people. And I'm going to pass it on to someone else who needs it.
At Tzu Chi's aid distribution site in Wharton, a hurricane victim has surprised the volunteers with his determination to reciprocate Tzu Chi's assistance.
I believe he came back already within an hour and filled us up. He talked about the change drawers that so many of us have in our homes. Just change and just put away. We forget that money is even there. But he went home, filled it up, and he's going to spread his love throughout the world.
Yeah, I just went home and filled the can. Giving back, just trying to give back. You know, you guys are out here giving so much. You're not at your homes with your families or your kids. You're down here helping us. So the least we can do is try to give something back.
At the distribution site, some hurricane victims with kids followed the Tzu Chi volunteers as they performed sign language songs. The ripple effect of love will continue to spread, making a difference.
One more candle to the light.
In a medical clinic, nurses and pharmacists are like a doctor's left and right hand. These indispensable assistants, especially nurses, do important work, such as setting up the clinic and cleaning up at the end of the day. In Tima's history, the role of nurses has changed throughout, but has always been very important.
因为要争取时间，每次我们准备都要准备2-3个小时。
These nurses are preparing for this upcoming clinic.
Each clinic will need to prepare this instrument to measure blood pressure and body temperature and ear thermometer. We also have to check if the ear thermometer has enough battery.
Each line at this clinic needs its own box of medical equipment and supplies, as nothing can be left out.
If there are new patients to treat, then we need to fill out a new medical history chart.
One person is a retired nurse with 60 years of experience, and one is a Yangming Hospital emergency room nurse who have volunteered to care for solitary seniors in remote areas with selfless dedication.
In the remote areas, we can tell by their health insurance card, they sometimes see a doctor just less than 2 times a year. So we go once every 2 months, and they're all very happy, and we're happy to do it. There are a lot of solitary seniors living alone here, and many who are fortunate have foreign caregivers looking after them. Those who are unfortunate have to look after themselves and to look forward to seeing our medical staff. When Tima comes, at least they have someone that they can talk to.
This song gets the elderly to clap along, which is one of the talents of these healthcare workers. With rural elderly people being looked after by foreign caregivers, the elderly just need someone to communicate with.
When we do a home visit, the first thing that we do is to see their environment is clean and then give them some health education and ensure if they have a normal diet.
To aid doctors, nurses have to prepare a health history record, and they need to communicate with the patient along with checking their blood pressure and blood sugar. They also check their home environment and make sure the elderly don't fall, along with other duties.
慈济的义诊活动虽然只有半天的时间，但是包括
When Tima's free clinics typically only last half a day, they include a great deal of preparation, which can be very time-consuming. We see many retired nurses who have sacrificed decades of work in this area. Nurse Ma, what are you doing now?
We are now taking back these medical records and compiling the data from this one-day medical clinic and doing final statistics for each clinic.
And now we take a look at these nurses folding and stacking these white uniforms. Let's ask the nurses about what they're doing.
We are taking the clothes that have just been washed and categorizing them according to size and sorting it.
After the clinic is over, these white medical robes and linens must be washed and sorted.
After the clothing is washed, we need to check to see if all the buttons are still intact, and sometimes we need to do a little sewing here.
Beginning in 2004, we moved to the Tzu Chi Hospital and no one could do this work as many of us couldn't stop doing this, so we still do it every week.
Because everyone agrees to share the same passion for the work, they continue doing it till now.
The spirit of the Tima Clinic is to do this hard work to become compassionate and helpful to others.
That is, we use the power of the group to help those who are suffering.
其实我觉得最大的帮助应该就是一个陪伴吧，关怀。很多人一起去看他，其实他真的蛮感动的。
Taking care of the elderly is an important mission for these nurses who have committed a lifetime of service to those in need.
We begin the second portion of our program in Thailand, where Tzu Chi volunteers have noticed that more patients are seeking medical services at the monthly free clinic for refugees. Therefore, since September, they began hosting 3 free clinics a month instead of just 1 to relieve the crowding. Also, to cut down the patients' waiting time, the volunteers have developed a free clinic registration system.
Registering at the free clinic with the text message he received, Iranian refugee Nasser has saved a lot of time this morning. After arriving at the free clinic, he undergoes the checkups and receives services from different departments.
It's a very good system. He provide me with good service.
The system he's referring to is the registration system Tzu Chi Thailand Chapter has developed for free clinics. It saves people their waiting time at the free clinics.
在我们的预约系统里面，挂号的时候会
People left their phone numbers in our registration system. With these numbers, we sent messages to those who are already registered. This way, they do not have to wait that long, and there's less patients in the morning.
的时间，那也减少这个早上的这个病人的人潮。
Besides utilizing the registration system, the free clinic will be held 3 times a month rather than just once. It will be held on the first and third Saturday of each month, in addition to the original one held at the end of the month.
At home, I can only help my families, but by joining this activity, I can help a lot of people in need.
Now that more free clinics will be held, the medical staff and volunteers can provide better services.
Carrying out charity work, they can spread love to not only Taiwan and Thailand, but in different parts of the world.
As Tzu Chi Thailand Chapter improves the services provided at its free clinics, the volunteers show their determination to alleviate the suffering of the refugees and patients.
Teachers of Tzu Chi Great Love Preschool in Singapore traveled to Malaysia for 3 days to gain some teaching experience from a Tzu Chi school in Penang. At the occasion, the teachers of the two schools learned from one another in hopes of improving their teaching skills, especially the visiting teachers from Singapore, as they have had less exposure to Tzu Chi's ways.
Teachers from Tzu Chi Great Love Preschool in Singapore traveled to Malaysia's Penang to exchange teaching experiences.
Before I came here, I hoped to learn from Tzu Chi in Malaysia to see what they have done. Later, I realized that they have already started to implement a special teaching strategy that trains students to learn independently. I want to see how they make it.
Because the Tzu Chi Great Love Preschool in Singapore has been established only for 3 years, our teachers actually do not totally understand Tzu Chi's educational philosophy, so they can understand more about it if they visit other Tzu Chi schools. I hope that they can incorporate Tzu Chi's humanitarianism into their teaching.
They share teaching experiences with one another to learn how to be a devoted teacher.
We can see the teachers' devotion in their teaching materials and classroom management. They usually take the children's safety into consideration. For example, they have to make sure that the students won't get hurt when they have a fall while playing. I'm quite moved by these teachers' devotion. Even though the teaching materials are very simple, I can still see the teachers' dedication.
My favorite sentence is that there's no children that can't be taught, but teachers need good methods. I hope the teachers can nurture these young students with sincere love.
To improve the interactions among parents, teachers, and students, we should always learn how to cultivate and nurture the children.
Moving our camera to Taiwan, Taoyuan's New Shoots tutoring program helps disadvantaged children with their schoolwork, as due to the lack of finances in the family, these children often don't have extra lessons after school. The Tzu Chi volunteers, Tzu Chings, and members of the Tzu Chi Teachers Association help fill this tutoring role, giving these children the ability to stand at the same starting point in this race called life. Showing off her passing grade, Xiaohua is all smiles. This is the best score she has gotten since entering middle school.
She says, in the 7th grade I failed math, and in the 8th grade I finally got a passing grade. I said it's okay, this time you passed, next time you'll improve more. You can only go up from here.
Her improvement in math is thanks to the New Shoot Scholarship Tutoring Program and Tzu Chi Teachers Association member Yang Biyun's one-on-one lesson.
The teacher is very patient with me. She continues to go over the parts I don't understand until I know how to solve the problem.
Not only the students' grades have improved, but their mannerisms in life has shown improvement as well. Tzu Chi volunteer Liu Zhanghui has seen their changes firsthand.
Coming here to spend time with these children, first and foremost, we are rewarded as well. Though these students come from disadvantaged families, they have matured a lot with our nurturing. Seeing improvements in their examination score is very gratifying.
Although these children are at a disadvantage from the start, but thanks to their hardworking nature, their actions prove their future is within their own control. Staying in Taoyuan, DaAi TV's 20th anniversary concert took place at the local Jing Si Hall, where television hosts and celebrities took the opportunity to interact with the audience. Tzu Chi volunteers also set up booths to sell items to support funding for DaAi TV.
Every song is a title song of a DaAi drama. Singer Guo Tianyu is thankful for the chance to sing to the audience.
I consider singing a very happy thing because I can sing songs with positive energy, and singing can influence people.
Lu Ruzhong is always a TV host, but this time he also takes up the microphone to sing and have fun with the audience.
I like to create an atmosphere to make everyone happy and celebrate the 20th anniversary. This is more important than me singing well.
DaAi TV will be 20 years old, so a production team held a concert at the Jing Si Hall in Taoyuan. Tzu Chi volunteers in Taoyuan also held a charity sale to support DaAi TV.
We talked to our team that we do it to support DaAi TV, and they didn't object.
Clapping is the greatest support for DaAi TV.
DaAi's dramas are very interesting to watch because from them we can learn the experiences and the spirits of every sister.
After 20 years, DaAi TV staff still remember their vows, and DaAi friends continue to be the greatest driving force to push DaAi TV forward.
Next in our report, we find out how a local mountain in Kaohsiung's Qishan, home to a balanced ecosystem, is being threatened by urban development. But first, we learn more about land crabs, which live on the border of Shoushan Mountain and the ocean. When it's time for Shoushan's land crab to lay their eggs, they must risk their lives.
When they head to the sand, they must grab on tightly. Otherwise, when the waves hit, they can easily get carried into the ocean.
These precious images of land crabs laying eggs come from 2 years of tracking. The conservation staff has discovered more than a dozen species of land and sand crabs here.
That hole over there and this hole here might be the land crab's home. It's hoped these coastal forest areas could retain this much vegetation, as barren land is not suitable for the land crab.
This special environment, including ocean and land, is the ideal ecological home to creatures big and small. But in order to continue this precious cycle, citizens of Taiwan must take care to preserve this land. Meanwhile, in Kaohsiung's Qishan, Ma-Tou-Shan has been a haven for wild animal conservation. In the eyes of conservationists, this is an important gene pool for biodiversity. Ma-Tou-Shan, located in Qishan, used to be filled with sugarcane fields. Now lying fallow, it is a biological paradise where a balanced ecosystem has formed naturally. The crab-eating mongoose presence is an indicator of a healthy stream environment. They love eating crabs, such as yuanchak the crab, which also lives in Ma-Tou-Shan, among other living organisms. This pangolin was injured when local residents found it, and the humans even helped it recover from its injury before setting it free.
In the early days, when they fell into our traps, we thought it was just a domestic cat, but someone said it was a leopard cat.
This 80-year-old grandpa has endless stories of life in these mountains, while the Kaohsiung Wildbird Society has documented more than 17 protected species recently.
The species here, especially protected animals, are very plentiful, such as mammals.
A special species is the civet, which is an animal that we didn't know lived here. It's quite surprising to find Ma-Tou-Shan's biodiversity to be this abundant. It's very suitable to the indigenous lifestyle.
But this biodiversity park is facing potential development as a landfill. Nearby residents hope by capturing the beautiful images of the animals in their natural habitats will help raise awareness about the importance of preserving this area as it is. The Jing Si Hall in Zhanghua, Taiwan is hosting an exhibition to showcase the artworks of the care recipient families who has artistic abilities. It is known that art therapy can be a good way for the disadvantaged to find confidence in life. Let's take a look at their talents at the end of the program. Thank you for joining us today. Goodbye.